Welcome to the Good Rookie Show. My name's Faheem.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all, and we are good
That's
booking.
right.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Good Tuesday, and guess what? It's the Good Booking Show.
Yep.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. What's going on, Fahim? So, as you know, we are in September. Okay, Labor
Mhm.
Day is done, but I don't follow the rules, y'all. I'm gonna wear white. That's right. I'm gonna wear white after Labor Day. But before we start off, the U.S. Open. I was in New York. Wow, the traffic in New York, Fahim, during the
Mm,
U.S. Open is crazy. I was like, oh, like
mm.
it's a lot of people. Even flying into New York, everyone on the plane was going to U.S. Open. So that's really dope. But as everyone knows, the biggest story, the most viewed tennis match ever occurred when
Hold,
Serena Williams
hold on. Ever?
ever,
Ho-
yeah, she broke records that day. Record that day.
That
Yes.
her last match was the most viewed tennis match ever.
Ever,
Wow.
ever, ever, ever with my Kanye trying to be Kanye. Yo,
Now,
ever,
is
ever,
that women's ever or is that
both,
ever?
anything, men, women, anything. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, so she averaged about 4.6 million viewers, the most ever
Wow.
watched tennis match in ESPN history. Ever,
Oh, so
ever,
so
ever, ever.
most watched on ESPN,
ESPN.
but not
Yeah.
ever. Oh, okay.
Well,
Because
well,
I was
I
gonna
don't know
say,
what the
whoa.
most viewed like tennis match. I think tennis is only on. I mean,
Oh no, it's on many different channels. Yeah, but
no,
I
no,
mean
no. But
for
I'm saying like
mm,
in terms of like North America, I'm not sure
mm,
global, but that's like the most
mm,
tennis match watch ever, men or women on ESPN, which
on
is huge
ESPN.
because
Okay.
ESPN is a. I mean, there's no tennis
Yeah.
channel, right?
There is, no, but there is though.
There's a tennis channel where in Canada
Yeah.
we have one. You
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah, I got it.
You lie. You have a
You got
tennis
it.
channel?
You got it too. Yeah,
I
you
got a
got it.
tennis channel.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't got no tennis channel. I'm sorry. I don't got that. I don't got that. Um,
Uh,
yeah.
but
But
yeah.
I mean, ESPN has been showing tennis for the last 43 years.
Okay.
So yeah. So 4.6
So
million.
so
I'm looking up most watched the record.
hmm
And no one has the highest record. I think um yeah, I'm looking up the most watched
and that
tennis
was the
match,
most routes. Okay, we'll go with that
tennis
for now.
viewership
That's
stats.
good.
Well, I'm just looking at it right now. I'm not seeing
hmm
anything passing on average 4.6 million at a time.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
Um,
nothing to pass that. But hey, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, it's huge. And I just think that's the biggest thing was that she retired for him. What's your thoughts on her finally putting the racket down in the singles matchup at least?
right. So we've discussed this before. Very happy for Serena. Um, amazing career. It's so in all sports, it's the passing of the torch, and how she went out, she didn't win, but she won in regards to just her career and what she put down and how she went out. I've nothing but great things to say about Serena at this point. What about you? I know you're big on Serena. Oh, I do want to say this though. We've been kind of discussing this, I guess, maybe for the last few years now. I guess pandemic's been 2 years, maybe the year before pandemic, so maybe last 3 years. And remember when we had that little friendly bet about do we think that she will get that record tying championship before retiring?
Yes, this was like a year
Right.
and a half ago, maybe in
Oh,
20
it was actually
during the
before the
pandemic in
even
2020, I
before.
think.
Yeah. Because Andrescu was uh, playing Serena at that time, and I was still saying, I don't think she's going to, and
Yeah,
even before that.
I
So,
think that was
so
2020 because she left in 2018 with the baby and she came back in
okay,
2020.
so maybe it
So
was when
that
she
was the
came
year
back.
when
Okay.
yeah, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I remember this convo because we had it with Julian as well. And
Mm-hmm.
you and Julian think she was gonna get one. I thought she
Right.
might get one
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, but then I really think she's had a lot of freakish accidents, like
Yeah.
old,
No.
those old granny accidents that only happen when you're old. It's like my back hurts, my leg, like she's getting those kind of incidents. But I mean, she's 41, so or
Mm-hmm.
turning 41, so yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it was my naivete of just my love for her. But
Oh
yeah,
no, no, and there's nothing wrong. There's totally nothing wrong with that. Like, there's no reason why you wouldn't take that bet on your end because she's reached the finals, like you said last time. I think we discussed a few weeks ago, but she reached the finals 5 times in the Grand Slams. So I mean, she's knocking on the door, just getting get done. But shout out to Serena once again. Um,
yeah, for
mhm,
sure. So stand corrected. Apparently, there was a match most viewed.
mhm.
But guess where this athlete's from? I mean, I think we can all guess where this person is from. China. So yeah, China alone surpassed the viewership because it was Li Na. She's a popular player, tennis player in China.
Lee
Um,
Na,
Li, last name N-A. Li Na.
Lena,
Yeah,
Lena is
Li, and
Lena is
then
her first name. Lena.
no, Li is her first name. Na's her last name for him.
Okay, Lena.
Yes, Chinese tennis player. And so she's really popular in China. She reached 4 Grand Slam finals, Australian Open in 2011, 13, 14, and the Roland Games in 2011. She
Mm.
won the last two, and essentially, um, in China alone, she had over 100 million viewers because of China
Wow.
alone. Yeah.
So I guess is that saying that Serena's not popular in China? Because this is her last match. So
Um,
why
well, what's
wasn't
crazy is that this is
Mhm.
ESPN's number. We don't know what the numbers were in China. So, you know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
that's just,
Right.
I mean, that's record. But
Right.
yeah, to your point, I'm sure they showed her match in China.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
but no,
mhm.
I think for me, I was happy for her. I was laughing because, that reporter was like, oh, did you feel, I forgot what she asked her, some question about, did she feel like she overperformed or something like that? And she's like, I'm just Serena. Like,
I'm just
girl,
Serena, right?
who
Mhm.
are you talking to? Like,
Mhm.
does Serena
Mhm.
feel under pressure? No. Does she
Mhm.
feel stressed, guys? No. She has
Mhm.
nothing to prove. This
Mhm.
her playing US Open for him to me was just was like, how in the NBA people do like their retirement year and just kind of walk around and sign jerseys for a
Right.
whole year. That was
Mhm.
that was her US Open. She wants
Right.
to play her last match at home amongst friends, family, and fellow goats like Tiger Woods. We saw LeBron watching her, like, come on, like, this is
Mhm.
Serena Williams. She did this for us. This was not for herself. She
I
played
was ho-
for us to enjoy her for the last time.
I was hoping that we could have got a Kobe 60 out of her, like on the way out. Like
But I feel like she did
that
get
win would
one.
have been great.
She beat the second highest
Number
ranked player in
two,
the world.
right?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
again like in tennis words to me that's it. Like you're being the
Mhm.
second highest, and
Mhm.
even the last match she played, that was tough. Like you could
Mhm.
tell she was just tired, right? She's
Mhm.
40. That
Yeah.
girl's a young thing, right? So at the end of the day,
Right.
to me, I feel like we got it because she beat the second highest ranked player in the world at this sport internationally, not just North
Mhm.
America athlete, an international athlete, second in the world. So I guess for me, I feel like she got it, but only not even that. I think she went further than I thought because if you watch her last two tournaments, she was out the first round.
Mm.
And at least this one, she went further, which is really cool.
Can you see her in any capacity staying in tennis in some way? I don't really see her as a color commentary. I don't really see her in
Well, we know her next play for him. Remember, she's signed with Amazon exclusive rights, so she's going to be doing 4 movies with them. We spoke about
right.
her for the
So in media.
culture.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
she's
Right.
doing
Right.
media.
Right.
She's
Right.
doing create yeah, like social media. I remember she's invested in Clubhouse. She's lots of investments in other
Hmm.
businesses. So
Oh, for sure.
Serena, yes, but I think her
I
next
was just
step will
wondering,
be
just in the
creating.
realm of tennis, if she's
Yeah, I
going
mean her
to say.
documentary will be around tennis, I think.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and I could see her being mentoring young players as well.
I mean,
Not,
that sounds nice, but I'll
but
be honest,
I
I don't
mean,
see her mentoring
no,
anybody.
but remember,
Okay.
mentoring doesn't mean like she's with them holding hands.
Mhm.
Mentoring, like, here's my number. If you need me, call me.
Okay.
Right? Because remember,
I
like,
still don't even see her as that kind of person, to tell you
I
the
know,
honest
but
truth.
what's funny? People didn't think AI can do it. AI does it. Jordan still
Hmm.
mentors players. I think people
Hmm.
think mentorship is like, I'm training you. I'm working with you every day. Mentorship doesn't have to be that intense.
Hmm.
Mentorship could be like, hey, if we need someone to talk to, call me because I've been
Hmm.
here. I've been the
Hmm.
best in the athlete in the world, right? And a lot of athletes have like LeBron had Jordan's number. Has he used it? No, but LeBron could call Jordan anytime. So at the end of the day, like I don't think she can be mentoring like whatever, but I do think and what she does, she's gonna help like young people. And like her father and Venus, they're big advocates for tennis and people of color. So they're gonna be making investments into the sport and helping other people who want to play get the chance to play tennis. So I could see her supporting and being a mentor, like money wise. But at the end of the day, Serena can do what she wants. She's a mother now, so I
Hmm.
think a lot of things people don't think she will do. I think she will do because I
Hmm.
think I see how she's with her daughter, and I can see her, saying like, you know what, how I am with my daughter, I'm with any other young girl that want to play tennis. Why not start a Serena camp every year? You pay some money and
Hmm.
you just do some workouts together with Serena. Like I could see her doing all that for him, honestly.
So you mentioned her daughter. The wonderful thing about her being a mother is if her daughter doesn't need to play tennis,
No.
clearly. Um, if she's not in the same situation as Serena on the come up, where that was their way out of their situation. But it would be interesting to see if her daughter were to play tennis. They talk about genes and just having that coaching. If she's being a mother and coaching her daughter, I'd be interested to see if that's a path that her daughter would take after her mother. That'd be interesting to see.
I,
I guess
I
we'll find
agree.
out. She's super young, but let's keep an eye on that for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Hmm.
man, for real. Serena will be missed. She is the greatest of all time, and I think it's crazy how even like male tennis players say she's the goat, of tennis. Not just like for women, but there's men saying that she's the goat in tennis for the sport, and I think that's what women are trying to achieve in the future. Like, of course, we know men are bigger, stronger. Like, come on, y'all, we're not. But it is cool to see that people respected her skill set as an athlete, not
Hmm.
not just her gender, but as an athlete, she was great at the sport. So it's just really cool that they call her a goat of tennis, and I'm hoping we can say that about other female athletes. Like they're a goat of basketball. They don't have to be the best male or female, but call someone a goat of basketball means that they're the goat at playing the craft. And I think
Hmm.
we need to just kind of, for you old school heads that think it's gender, yeah, gender is there, but being a goat in basketball means you're a goat of the sport of playing ball, of hockey or football. You're a goat of that sport itself. It
Right.
doesn't have to be gender driven. So I'm happy that people are calling her a goat of tennis. And like she said, she wanted to have fun, come out there, play at home in front of her friends and family, and she did that for us. So Serena, thank you for playing in the U.S. Open. I should have teared. I was like, oh my gosh, it's her last time playing. But girl, you'll all be remembered always. So that's it for me and Serena. But speaking of, signing off, let's sign on to NFL.
All right.
So the NFL season has begun, not preseason, but the official season. I'm sure everyone had their fantasy lineup set and all that guru. I already told my homegirls, I said, y'all, Sundays just don't bother.
Yeah.
If you ain't dying, let me know on Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like, leave me alone on Sunday. Like, leave me alone, right? And my bestie was like, oh man, here we go. So yeah, football is back for him. I'm totally stoked. But speaking of football, a lot of things. I'm looking up the highest paid or the highest paid average players, and I think in football it's different because they have guaranteed money and they have like average pay per year, right?
Right.
So looking at this year's highest paid athletes. And we can talk about running backs, but let's talk about the quarterbacks specifically. I want to focus on those guys
All right.
because you think about top quarterbacks, who comes to mind as the top three quarterbacks in the NFL? Just off the cuff, who would you call a top three quarterback?
I'm a little biased,
Mm-hmm.
just because I would choose this off the ones that I like. Now, obviously,
Yeah,
I'm
of
gonna throw.
course.
Oh,
Yeah,
fine.
fine. Who do you like? That's
I'll
fine.
go Brady.
Tom Brady, yeah.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and I like Patrick Mahomes. I'm good.
Okay.
Mhm.
Top three, right? And
Mhm.
there's arguments there, but Patrick Mahomes, Lamar, Tom Brady, cool.
Mhm.
So let me share with you who is the highest paid uh, quarterback tracking. So this is average pay, um, highest 3-year average pay, right? So starting from 2022, ending in 2026, the next 3 years, okay?
Okay.
So we got Aaron Rodgers, number one, at 50.2 million. Number
Not mad
two,
at that. Not mad at that.
number two, Russell Wilson. Number
Mm.
three, Kyler Murray. Number four, Deshaun Watson. And number five, Patrick Mahomes at 45 mil.
Mm.
Yeah. So you mentioned Tom Brady, Lamar, and Patrick. Patrick is the fifth of this list,
Mhm.
right? Kyler Murray, Deshaun, Russell, and Aaron are above him. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I think we all can put him up there as top three quarterback, MVP, all that stuff. So he will always be in the mix, right? But I mean, Russell Wilson, Kyler, and Deshaun getting paid more money
So with these
than.
contracts, do
Mhm.
they kind of piggyback off each other? Like, say, for instance, would it be Mahomes maybe sign a contract and then the next
Yeah,
QB said, "Oh wait, Mahomes getting
exactly
this," so
what
that's
happened.
oh, okay.
Bingo.
That would make
So
sense.
all these guys' contracts were after Patrick Mahomes' money because he was highest
Mm,
paid,
right,
and then Deshaun got that big check, Kyler and Russell. So you're absolutely correct.
right,
So whereas in the NBA, the highest paid athlete coming up this year is Steph Curry, and that's a
right,
lie. He's a champion. He's one of the greatest. Well, is the greatest shooter of all time, right? So that's aligned with at least top five player in the NBA.
right.
But and then I think number two is like Westbrook, right? So but
But
in quarterback, this is a quarterback position, right? So with his position, I think it's interesting that Kyler Murray's up there. But to your point, it is like but again, Kyler Murray do they think Kyler Murray is as good as Patrick Mahomes in Arizona? No.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? So all I'm
mhm,
saying is just that like that's great. Now the most guaranteed money is of course no one's shocked about this one because he just signed it, Deshaun Watson, number one at
mhm,
230 million. Number two, Russell Wilson, then Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, and then fifth is Josh Allen, who's another
mhm.
favorite, a top five quarterback to me.
Right.
Josh
He's
Allen. He's
definitely on the
not even
come
in
up.
top five getting paid, but he's top five guaranteed. So NFL is quite different. What's your thoughts for him on this on the guaranteed money versus average pay and this list?
I do think a lot of it has to do with timing, like I was just mentioning. You'd mentioned the NBA and Steph Curry being the highest paid NBA player. Keep in mind, though, after the TV deal, this would have been maybe 3 years or 4 years ago. Remember when they signed that big TV deal and people were getting big contracts after that TV deal on the
Mm-hmm.
offseason? At one point, the highest paid player in the NBA, right after the TV deal, you remember who it was? You're not
Oh
okay.
yes, it was. Hold on.
Put it this way: it's
It
someone
wasn't
who, when we
wasn't
say the name,
Westbrook. It
oh no
was
no 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 no, it's not. He's not a brand name. Like Westbrook, I'd say is a brand name. Anyone you name,
oh
this person,
was it Bradley Beal or John Wall?
no, not even ready. It was Mike Conley Jr.
Oh Lord.
At one
Okay.
point, he was the highest paid player. So this come down to timing, right?
You're
Now,
right, but keep in mind, okay, but top five paid players in the NBA, one is Steph Curry, Russell
mm,
Westbrook. Okay,
mm,
that's a bloop. That's a bloop. LeBron James is number three,
mm,
Kevin Durant number four, and Bradley Beal bloop. So at least they have the top. I mean, there's three guys in there that are top five players, right?
mhm,
Whereas in the NFL, they have maybe one. They have
mm,
Aaron Rodgers and Patrick two. So yeah,
right,
I guess there's always those boosts, but again, I guess having a great agent matters and
right.
timing too.
And keeping it on brand with the NFL and what I was saying about seems like contracts are piggybacking off each or one upping
Yeah.
everybody. If we're keeping true to form, you know who the next highest paid QB is going to be in the NFL?
Okay, not Dak. Hold on. Let me look at. I'm thinking out loud. Is it going to be? Hold on. Tom Brady. If oh no,
No,
he's not
ready?
staying. He's out. Who?
There's someone that is Lamar Jackson.
Lamar. When's his contract coming up?
He's due, right? Like he's been apparently I've been keep hearing that his agent they haven't worked anything out. I
That's
think that
right. You
might
are
that
correct. Yes,
that
because he
may be the
wants.
that may be the problem because he's probably looking at it saying, hey, if these guys are getting this, I want X amount. And maybe that's
That's
the problem.
true.
He's
That is
looking
the
for that big
problem.
bag.
You're
Mm,
right, Fahim. That's true because that's been delaying his contract discussions.
right,
And that's why
right.
I didn't draft him this year because I know what's going to happen with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying way far away from that situation. But no, like you're right though. It is, and that's what one thing. And but that's the league though, right? It's about what the market is giving you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And agents know how to work the market. So
Hmm,
let's see if Lamar will jump Deshaun because Deshaun is 230 million. I
hmm,
think Lamar deserves more than that. Lamar's the MVP. He's had
right.
a great, like an impeccable, I think, his second season in the NFL to me, he's proven to be a franchise quarterback.
Hold on. What season is?
I feel like his second season he had like I think
Oh, in his second season. Okay,
yeah, I
okay. Yeah,
think in
yeah,
his
yeah. I
second
got you.
season I
Yeah.
think he had like one or two losses. I forgot
No,
which
no, no. Yeah, yeah.
right. So
No. So we just mentioned Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson. Who's better? Is it close? Like, is there a debate there?
I would pick Deshaun has a better arm, better accuracy, better throw.
Mm.
Lamar's better legs.
So there is a
Deshaun's a
debate there
better.
for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
Deshaun. I mean, if you watch
Really?
them play,
Mm.
yeah, Deshaun's a better quarterback. Like I guess Deshaun has a better arm. Yeah, absolutely. Deshaun's
Mm.
actually, if but prior to all the women,
Right.
the woman, Deshaun's actually really what like he played really well. Actually, he made the Texans look good, and they were not good, and that's why he left them because he knew they weren't going to do anything with that roster.
So of the two,
Um,
you would choose Deshaun Watson
yep,
over Lamar Jackson?
I
Yeah.
would. Yep,
Fair
yep.
enough. Fair enough.
Again,
Fair
prior
enough.
to the woman now because of
Yeah.
moral, I'll pick
Yeah.
Lamar. But before prior to the woman, yeah, I picked Deshaun. Deshaun is
Mm.
on paper. I mean, not on paper, but like in terms of skill set and like how like his arm and his
Mm.
accuracy, yeah,
Mm.
Deshaun has a better accurate arm than Lamar.
Fair
Lamar's
enough.
throw, yeah, but Lamar has great legs. He's like a
Mm.
running back that can throw. It's pretty crazy. So he's also
Mm.
extremely talented. He's not
And
Michael Vick, but he's really good.
of the two, who has better leadership qualities at the QB position for you?
Oh, I don't know. They're both young.
Mm.
That's a toss up for me, to be
Mm.
honest, because
Mm.
I think, yeah, I don't know. But hey, the fact that the Browns are willing to pay out him so much money,
Mm.
clearly they believe in him, right? Whereas Baltimore is being hesitant.
Right.
That's a sign of something's wrong there. So
Fair enough.
yeah,
All right. So, Nelly J, let's go to for the culture.
for the culture, we like to highlight individuals for the culture, and today we get to highlight a Sierra Leone heritage tennis player who is the second since is it
Arthur Ashe.
Arthur Ashe
Mm.
who made the semifinals in 1972. He's the
Mm.
second to do it since Arthur Ashe in 1972. Francis Tiafoe or
Tiafoe. Yeah.
Tiafoe,
Tiafoe.
and
You got it.
yeah, and what's cool about Francis is that like if you watch the US Open, y'all, how are you not inspired by this band, right? Immigrant came to America, played, not only did he play, but his father, I think his father was a janitor, and his first office space was an actual was actually in a tennis center type office.
Mm-hmm.
His first coach for him paid for his tournament entry fee. His first coach. This is that means you believe in this kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
He turned pro in 2015, and 7 years later, even during a pandemic, he's now made it to his first semis, which is great. In his 26th Grand Slam. So big up to Francis, man. I think it's a great story, and he's definitely for the culture because I think a lot of times, tennis is a rich man sport, right? If you've seen King Richard, you saw what Richard had to do to get his daughters into tennis. A lot of stigma with black players in that world. We're now seeing a bit more people of color, I would say, Faheem in tennis right now. However, it's still a far way to go. So seeing an African descended player, like parents from Africa, actually be playing like an immigrant, that is to me is beautiful, right? So my
Mm-hmm.
question for you, what's your thoughts on what he's done thus far in his career and what he's done right now in the US Open?
So I like that you mentioned earlier about how important it was that Serena beat the number two in the world. Even though she didn't win, she still beat somebody of quality.
Mm-hmm.
What Tiafo did is he beat Rafael Nadal, right?
Bruh.
And Nadal is number two in the world. So, I mean,
And people call him a goat. People do call him a goat, Faheem.
yeah, depending,
Some people love
definitely
him
on
off.
certain on surfaces on clay. Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely for Nadal for
But
sure. Yeah, so he beat Nadal, which is that's a feat, especially the U.S. Open. This is it's a major, right? So,
absolutely.
this is part of the reason why we're actually I'm saying having this conversation. If he doesn't beat Nadal, then maybe we're not having this conversation. He beat someone of stature, so shout out to him for that. I think it's definitely an inspiring story, kind of on brand, obviously, as we were saying earlier with Serena, and what she's done to influence players in the game. I find it hard to believe that whether directly or indirectly, Serena had to be some kind of influence on, if not him, on his parents in some way
Oh,
for him
for
to be
sure.
involved in tennis. I don't know this for a fact, but I think that's a fair assumption. Um, there's also so he's part of a young crop also because we mentioned Felix Auger-Aliassime from Canada. He's also another young black player. Also, I do find though there's more um, black players on the women's side than on the men's side for some reason. I mean, I'm not saying they don't exist, clearly, but I think when you have a feat like this on a big stage, and Tiafoe does beats Nadal, and by the time this airs, we don't know how far he would have been in the tournament. He's in the semis. This was coming up in a few days. So regardless, though, if he doesn't go on any further, he still achieves something that we should say, this is for the culture. I do want to say this though, real quick. Shout out to Diversified Youth, Kevin Francis, somebody who he's probably say, I think the only person in my circle who like actually really follows tennis.
Mm.
Like when I mentioned the tennis channel, I think he watches tennis much like we would
Yeah,
watch
I know about that tennis
basketball.
channel though. I was like, "There's a tennis
Yeah.
channel?" I should
No,
have known. There's a weather network. There's a
right.
curling channel. There has to be
Right.
tennis channel too. Like, duh,
Yeah.
Nelly. But
So
yeah.
so I definitely soak a lot of game from Kevin Francis, Diversified Youth, and he was actually telling me that after the match, with Tiafo being a black player, normally, for most parents, when their parents are in the crowd, the media, finds a way to at least point out, hey, that's his parents, or
Mm,
maybe tell a story about his parents, because usually it's the parents that are behind the athlete being there. So we always seem to, if we see or if not parents, family. But he was explaining to me that he was actually disappointed that Tiafo, after he beat Nadal, they didn't mention anything about his parents. They didn't mention anything about the story that you mentioned about his father, being a janitor, staying there. They didn't really do a great job, the media, of letting people know his story. And I think that does kind of have speak to tennis and how black players are presented in tennis
yes,
in the media.
I'll say yes, and I also say I don't think they thought he was gonna win for him. It's
Mm,
Rafael Nadal. I
right.
think that okay, y'all, let's just focus on. I think they had all the words, the catchphrases for Nadal winning this match. I don't
Hmm.
think Tiafo was even in the conversation.
Hmm.
If you were betting money on this match, I could imagine how much money you would have made if you picked Tiafo to beat Rafael Nadal.
Nadal
You know what I'm
in
saying?
in in in,
And I
in a
think
major, right? Yeah.
I don't think because typically they'd prep, they would know where the parents are sitting, they would
Hmm.
have the seats, they'll have the camera ready for either one, right? They did not even think.
Right.
Faheem, they were
So,
unprepared. So yeah,
but
but
so.
Kevin thinking is correct.
Hmm.
Now, I think TFO, what's he ranked? Is he ranked 20 something?
Mm,
Like, is that I think he's ranked this year in the 20s. Like, I don't think he's ranked top 10. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
again,
definitely
like,
not. No.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, he wasn't even like I don't think what he did for him is like something where they were unprepared. Again, no excuses for me because I think at the end of the day, it's tennis. We've
Hmm.
seen people high rank go down all the time, right?
Right.
So you should always be prepared. So Kevin's right. I think they should have had or known where these parents are sitting. Number
Right.
one, right? But number two, to your point, it was Nadal. I think people thought he had in the bag, to be honest.
Hmm.
But big up to
And
Tiafo, man, for
mhm,
doing that, for real. Keep in mind, though, I forgot to mention this for him. He actually was the second youngest American man to win a tournament on the ATP Tour since Andy Roddick in 2002.
right.
And that was when he won in 2018 Delray Beach Open. So he's
Hmm.
been slowly like, it's like he hasn't, like, he's been around, but hasn't made his mark. But again, he only became the circuit in 2015. And who
Hmm.
knows what, remember, the guy didn't have money to join tournaments all the time. His
Hmm.
coach paid for his tournament. So I'm just proud that someone got it out the mud, like real for out the mud.
Right.
And, it's something I think that's really important to show that, there's ways to get into tennis. Even if you have money, we've seen, Venus and, like what Keith Richards did for his daughters. Now we're seeing another example of, hey, someone who got through without the money, but they got it out the mud. So I think it's a great inspirational story for people to say, hey, if you like tennis, you want to play tennis, there's a way to get in. You just have to work your A off.
So you mentioned about stories, and that's why I would have thought that Tiafo would have got a lot more love A, it's the U.S. Open, so he's an American a professional player, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be a no brainer to build that
Facts.
story for that. And I do think that so tennis and these majors are really like I mentioned about storylines. Uh, if say for instance it was I okay, you watched the Serena match. The girl who beat Serena, did they mention anything about her story at
Nobody
all?
cared. Faheem, no one cared.
No one cared. Okay.
Faheem, no one cared. Like, and again, no this to her. She
Mm-hmm.
spoke about how it's hard for her because she's like playing Serena. Like, I admire her too. I
Mm-hmm.
get that, but nobody cared. No one Googled her. No,
Mm-hmm.
all we knew Serena was her last match, right? But
No, but I
but
mean, did the commentator or the commentators when they're
no,
calling the game, did they?
it was
Mhm.
they talked no because during the game was about Serena. It was Serena's
Mm,
last match
right.
for him. Like
That's
nobody
right. Of
again, like the
course.
focus
Right.
wasn't even her. No offense to her, it was about Serena. The entire match was about Serena, her reaction. I remember
Right.
watching a US like commentator. So I'm
Hmm.
sure maybe if it was an international commentator would have heard more, maybe a different dialogue. But on the
Hmm.
American channel with the American viewership, they were talking about the American on the court. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But with Tiafo, I will say this: after, even though they didn't talk about him as much on the teleprompter, on the socials, the U.S. Open, whoever managed the U.S. Open social media accounts, they did tweet about him. They had lots of tweets about his history, like what I told you about his father. I got that from U.S. Open on the social media account.
Mhm.
So the U.S. Open social media, they did share his story on social media. However, the guys that the folks that the broadcasters, they have people that give them notes and they didn't have the information in front of them. That's all it really was. You know what I'm saying? But
So
the social media team did have the information.
maybe we have to stop relying on the media to tell our own stories
Well, I don't rely on media
because
ever to tell stories.
no, I know, but think about this. Even in the culture, for what he's doing, I'm not really seeing much. I'm not really seeing or hearing his name a lot like on IG or anything culturally relevant. I'm not really seeing his name there. And I think I've kind of made that point also with Felix Auger Aliassime in Canada, where
Mm-hmm.
he's a young black player. He's making strides, and in regards to sponsorships and media, and he's just not in those conversations. And I feel like Tiafo is kind of in that same situation, but I don't think he should be because he's in the United States and he's a black player and he's a top 25 player. He's number 24 in the world as of this recording.
Mm-hmm.
So he's somebody who's going to be in these conversations, and I'm still not hearing anyone of the culture championing behind him also. So I think we need to do a better job in the culture to
Absolutely.
highlight him more.
I agree. I, you know
Mhm.
what? I think he will. Like, I think he's going to get that love. I think what he did is crazy because, when Serena's last match, the next day, Coco wins, a black African American, and
Mhm.
Tiafo wins, right? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, okay, now who's next? And I
Mhm.
think a lot of people are watching US Open right now to see who is next. So I know Coco got a lot more fans this weekend, and so did Tiafo. I think they're both gonna
Mhm.
get a lot more fans because even someone I know like, oh, where's he from? I'm like, Maryland. He grew up there. Like, what? So now people, okay, he's from Maryland. I didn't know. So I think they're both gonna get a lot more fandom and people supporting them and saying, go Coco, go TFO. And they're
Mhm.
gonna. I mean, will they be great like Serena? Probably not. I mean,
Yeah.
right? But
Mhm.
I still think that they're going to get a lot more support. And I know nowadays people know who Coco is. Coco, oh, tennis player, yeah, yeah, you know what I mean?
Right. Mhm.
But TFO, because he hasn't really made it so many semis, I think now he's going to get that love. So I'm hoping,
Right.
like you said, he's playing at home. And he's been so emotional. I love after his match, he's crying and everything. I know a lot of people have been like, because I've been sharing his story on my social media. Like, yeah, this guy's really cool. So all it takes is sharing and retweeting, right? If we retweet one tweet about him, one share about him, Fahim, then your friends see it, then their friends see it, and the something can become viral, right? So all we can do in our part, like today, is really highlight him, his journey, his story, what he's going through, and wish him all the best in the future. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But
Yep.
I just love hearing, people talk about immigrants coming to North America looking for a new future. So I like hearing, because I was an immigrant myself, so I like hearing about someone like him who came from Sierra Leone to America, got it up the mud, and now he's in the semifinals for the U.S. Open. And who knows what can happen after that? But
Mhm.
I think he's in the history books, right? As an American tennis player. So good for
Uh,
him.
okay. I just wanted to, you think he's in the history books as an American player? Expand on that,
Yeah.
please.
So Arthur Ashe. So like
Hmm.
the fact that he's the second African American to ever make the semifinals of the U.S.
Yes.
Open. Yeah, that's
Oh,
why.
okay. From that,
Yeah, like
okay.
yeah,
Got you.
it's history books, right? Because that's second to ever do it, right? And we're gonna see
Hmm.
more in the future, but he'll
Right.
be Arthur Ashe number one and him number two
Right.
as
And
the
that,
only two Black American men to ever make it to U.S. Open semifinals.
right.
That's history right there. Black
Yeah.
history.
Very fair enough.
Yeah.
Shout out to Frances Tiafoe.
But I will say, man, men tennis, y'all, if you're not watching, imagine watching like when you saw Magic, MJ, and Kareem playing in their peak at the same
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
That's tennis. We have Federer, we had Nadal and Novak all playing at the same time. Federer and Nadal are now kind of getting older and stuff. But like the fact that like in the last decade we've seen such great male tennis players all around the same time, it's really cool. So if you're not watching tennis right now on the men's side, it is really cool to watch
Most,
because it's a lot of talent. A
hmm
lot of talent.
Most
And of
definitely.
course, the women's side is, of course, a lot of talent as well. I'm letting y'all
So,
know.
yeah, all the best to Francis Tiafoe going forward. Not just for the U.S. Open, but on his career. Shout out to him.
Yes, agreed.
Nelly J, let's close this out with That's Absurd.
That's absurd. Faheem, bro. What was absurd this week? What was absurd?
I heard this, and when I heard it, I didn't know how to react. I wasn't sure if it was a troll. Um, it seems to be the real deal because when it's forwarded to me, I didn't hear it in the clip, but I saw enough that I feel this is something that he really did. So this absurd is going out to Patrick Beverley, who said, "quote They're going to be playing with me. I made the playoffs last year. They didn't. It's a difference."
Who's they? Again, please tell the people, please tell the folks them who is they. Who's
So
Pat Beverly referring
this
to?
quote is Patrick Beverley on playing with LeBron James and
Thank you.
Anthony Davis.
Thank you, sir. There we go.
Once again, the quote is they're going to be playing with me. I made the playoffs last year. They didn't. It's a difference. End quote. Absurd.
You know, I mean, Pat Beverly, I mean, if I could, he'll be on That's Absurd every week, honestly. When he opens his mouth, it's an absurd. So that's just my thought. When it
um,
comes to this statement, Faheem, Pat Beverly, Faheem, when his team won a play-in game, remember that, Faheem? When they made it to the playoffs in the play-in game, Faheem, what was your thoughts on Pat Beverly at that time?
uh,
Celebrating like what? What do you think he was going through his mind?
I think he thought that they might have won the championship because I did see him doing the Dwayne Wade standing on the scores table
Yep.
after their win. Um, yeah, I mean, so
So that's my point. So at the end of the day, do we are we shocked? Are we really shocked that
right.
Pat Beverly would take that one play-in win that he got last season and now make it seem like Pat Beverly. Pat Beverly, sir. I like what's your credentials? I have questions for him. At
So
this point, it's absurd because you haven't won anything before. And
right.
to me, we don't count how many times you make a playoff round. We count how many times you won a championship. And if not, then you should be the best at what you do in the NBA. The best defender, the best scorer, the best handles, whatever it is you do. Pat, you're not even the best of anything. You're
Mhm.
not. So
Yeah.
I'm just so confused, Pat, why you think LeBron James, who some consider the GOAT, he's my number two of all time. Why you think that he should be honored to play with you, sir? It's you.
So LeBron. Okay, so I'm just thinking about players that LeBron's played with before, right? Um, because clearly by this statement, he feels, and then mind you, to be fair, Pat Beverly's not saying he's a better basketball player than LeBron James. Let's not take what he said out of context.
But he's acting like he is.
Yes, he's acting, but he
Okay,
did.
then.
Okay,
Hold on. For
he's
him,
saying
what he said? He said they should be what? They should
he
be.
said they should be. They're going to be playing with me,
Thank you. So
right
okay, okay.
now, but keep in mind, you might have a player who's a great basketball player, but not so much a leader, right? So I think I'm going to give Pat Beverly maybe the benefit of the doubt. And his angle is, um, you know, they may need my.
No, Faheem, stop, stop, Faheem, stop.
No,
Why
hold
are you
on, hold on.
defending it? What are you
No,
talking
it's not
about
about
here?
defending. I'm just really trying to see.
No,
I'm trying.
no, you said I want to give Pat Faheem. This
Yes.
man, if, imagine someone Faheem put Michael Jordan behind that. Put Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Put
Yeah.
any Faheem. Put any top 10 player on your list behind that
Mhm.
statement. It's
Mhm.
absurd. It's
They're playing with
absurd,
me.
bro.
Yeah, they're going to be playing with me
No,
is
you
kind
should
of,
be
yeah.
honored. If I'm Pat Bev, you know
Mhm.
what? I'm honored to be playing with a great player like LeBron James, Anthony Davis. My goal is to help them out and make it to the playoffs. You don't say they should be happy they're playing with me. Pat Bev, who are you? Who
Okay.
are you?
Yeah, I'm with you. So let me ask this on the way out then. Do you think, because here's one, Pat Beverly is going to come in and do his leadership thing,
No, he's
you
gonna
know?
talk trash and distract the players.
Okay,
He's not gonna do
fair enough.
anything.
But
What is he gonna do? Like, no, please tell me what is Pat Beverly's leadership skills?
no, no.
Because he made
So
because he wasn't leader for the Clippers. He
mm,
got no, he wasn't. That was
yeah.
Paul George,
Okay.
and then on the last team that was Ant-Man's team and Cat's team. So
Right.
what leadership is he doing?
One thing I'll give him, he is going to bring it every night on defense.
Yes,
And defense
he
is
will bring annoyance.
contagious.
Yes, he no, but
Defense
what he's
is
gonna bring
contagious.
is
So
that he's gonna talk. But listen, we've seen Gary Trent cross him many times. What he's gonna do is that
it happens.
he's going to bring a
Intensity.
distraction to the other team. He's gonna
Okay.
talk trash about in your for him. That's a skill set. He's not a great defender. He's not.
But he's intense though, right? And
He's
maybe
intense.
and maybe that's
Is there a score?
where
Is there an intense score for players? I gotta Google. Is there an intense score for NBA ranking? Please rank the NBA top NBA intense
I'm
players in
just
six.
saying he may be bringing that intensity and
But that's
maybe hoping
Westbrook,
that.
and that didn't help them. Westbrook's intense as well.
But who's more intense, Westbrook or Beverly?
I think they're
I
equal, the
think I
same.
really okay. I
Pat
leaning
Bev
toward Pat.
talks more, but they're
Right,
both intense.
right.
You said intense. Trash
Mhm.
talking, Pat Bev. But Westbrook is very intense in every game. He plays like he's playing his last game. He's very
Right.
aggressive, right?
Okay.
So to me, what's his intent, right? I
Okay.
think Pat Bev just wants to say shit because he can, and people and tweet it out. I don't I know you're Pat Bev. You like Pat Bev. I'm sorry. I think he's absurd all the time.
Right.
Absurd. Yeah.
No, no, I'm with you on absurd. And I wouldn't say I like Pat Bev. I say I respect Pat Bev for what he does, right?
Which is
Um,
intense. Guys,
which
look
is
up the intense.
is
Top NBA intense players. That's the list coming up by the good rookie soon.
all right, Nelly J. You know what? I think let's put this episode in the books.
Oh man, that was a good rookie show.
Mhm.
My God. So y'all, as you know, at this time, let's give our shout outs. So my shout outs is to all the listeners, the viewers that are going back to school, okay, or that are in school, getting a degrees or a master's, whatever y'all got to do. Big up to y'all. I know it's a grind. I've been there, so you'll get through it, y'all. You get through it. And my other, of course, shout out is to all the people of color playing tennis. That's it. Simple.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
I'd like to actually do a quick shout out to Dawn Staley for the decision she made
Ooh, yes.
to not play against Brigham Young University just over a game over a racial incident that they had in Utah, and she pulled the women's basketball. It canceled their home and home series with BYU
Mm-hmm.
uh, just because of the incident that happened with a Cougars fan that yelled a racial slur
Yeah.
at a Duke volleyball player. So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't even like it was basketball related. It was a volleyball player that was going to having these racial slurs yelled at her. But I'm just going to shout out Don Staley for standing up and championing just being there for the culture. You know what I'm saying? And that was a
Absolutely.
big move by her, I think, being a basketball player, recognizing outside of her sport that someone's going through this and taking a stand because in women's basketball, she has influence. And for her to say, you know what, my team's not playing in Utah because of that, shout out to her for taking a stand.
I mean, Utah has been known to have terrible, trashy fans. Not all your
Yeah.
fans. Y'all got some great fans, but y'all
Mm,
got some really bad fans.
right.
And I just think that I don't know how that fan was reprimanded. Were they banned? Were they, can't come to games at all for the year? So at the end of the day, that's a stand. Because for me, if your fans are racist and listen, don't say anything, right? But if we're
Hmm.
gonna yell out at players on the court, I don't think that was the first time it's happened to him. I think it was
Right.
the first time it's been reported, but now it's happened. For her to say, I'm not coming, we don't
Hmm.
know what she has heard or seen playing in that area before. We don't know.
Right.
That's why I think it's like there's more to this, but respect to her, I agree.
Hmm. And I'll just give you the quote real quick. She says, as a head coach, my job is to do what's best for the players, and my staff. She said, the incident at BYU has led me to reevaluate our home and home, and I don't feel that it's the right time for us to engage in this series, end quote. So,
Good for her. And you know
yeah,
what? If she was coming to that, they would have made enough money off of her name alone.
of
So by
course.
her doing that, yes, go into their pocketbooks, Don. Love
Hmm.
it. Mm-mm, love it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Great episode. So let's put this episode in the books.
Yes, y'all, that's a good rookie show. If you had a good time, you enjoyed yourself, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Faheem.
We are on all platforms if you're looking for us. It's a good rookie show, and we out.
Peace.
Peace.